So good morning students, welcome to all in this lecture number 13 of module 2, that is culture. So in the previous lecture we talked about sanskar, and in this lecture we are going to talk about culture. So if you see, over the ages various cultures and civilizations have taken shape. At the core of the civilization is its culture, and at the base of the culture is what has been understood or assumed about the reality, that is sanskar. A civilization is the expression of a culture in the form of behavior. So in order to share our understanding, feelings, thoughts, various modes of communication have been used in culture, like literature, song, dance, concert, drama, painting, sculpture, etc. So in this lecture basically we are going to study what is culture, how it is related to sanskar, and what are various modes used in culture to spread its activities. So let's start with the lecture. So sanskar and culture are basically interrelated to each other. So if you see, at the core of civilization is culture, and each culture is what has been understood or assumed about the reality, that is sanskar. So if we are talking of individual human being, then we are talking about sanskar. When we are talking about combined living, collective living, so collective thoughts are culture, and when these thoughts are expressed in behavior, work, it is basically a civilization. So civilization is the expression of culture in the form of behavior. So in this lecture basically we are going to talk about culture. In the previous lecture we studied sanskar, and in the next lecture we will study about civilization. So let's understand the culture. So one important point is, what are key goals of culture? So number one, development of the right sanskars. So the key goal of culture is the development of right sanskars of every individual. The development of the right feelings and thoughts in every individual. So the aim of every culture, every cultural function is the development of right sanskar, the acceptance, the feeling and thought of everyone. So basically culture helps you to develop your sanskar, to guide you at the level of feeling, at the level of thought. If we see basic effort of any culture, so basic efforts of any culture are in two directions. Number one, organizing various efforts, and number two, collective contemplation. So in culture, various events are organized that impacts people's feeling, thought process. For example, like musical programs, dance performance, skits, play and dramas, effective speeches and lectures play a very significant role in influencing the feelings, thought and acceptance of most of the people in the society. So such role models, incidents, programs leave deep impressions on our sanskar. So many times you may get influenced through a good movie, many times you may get influenced through cultural program. Many times these programs help you to awaken you. Many times these programs help you to understand the things through many various manners. This culture is going to help you. It basically help you. Second is collective contemplation. So in various culture there is a provision of collective contemplation. So various gatherings are organized in a culture, and the purpose of this gathering is to evaluate yourself, is to talk about the present situation, is to talk about what is to be done, is to talk about what is reality. So basically this collective contemplation is a way to investigate the present situation of the society, to investigate the present situation of yourself. So it basically helps us to develop the competence required in fulfilling roles to be taken up in the future, in further stages of life. So these two efforts are made by culture, organizing various events and collective contemplation. So in any culture, we can see a lot of activities that actually affects our feeling and thoughts. They play a very important role in forming our acceptance, right or wrong. So for this, various types of communication take place in a culture. So now we are going to study about modes of communication. So many types of communication held in a culture, and the purpose of this communication is to give you insight, is to give you philosophy of a culture. So what are those modes? Modes of communication, lifestyle, system of production, etc. So if you see modes of communication, language, literature, dance, song, music, drama, painting, sculptures, etc. are used to convey the feeling and thought. So first is, we are going to study these modes of communication. So we can see there are three types of mode of communication. Number one, verbal communication. Number two, audio-visual communication. And number three is publication and print media. So in verbal communication, speech is primarily used in this type of communication. That is discussion, lectures, radio programs, etc. In audio-visual communication, sight is used in addition to speech, that is lecture with slides, TV programs, movies, documentaries, etc. Then verbal and audio-visual communication, it is very popular in today. So that is, for example, radio and TV programs are generally live and recorded, replayed, whereas movies are generally recorded and replayed. So now in today's scenario, we have this facility. We can record the event, we can replay the event. But in live, this has to be synchronous, that is, performance and audience have to be present at the same time. So with the ability to transmit in a real time, the performance and audience need not to be in the same place. If we talk about recorded, so verbal or audio-visual performance that are recorded can be curated, stored, transmitted to various places and replayed. So nowadays we have many types of communication so that we can convey our thoughts and feeling up to every individual in our culture. So equipment and instruments are required for this purpose. Various forms of audio-visual communication have a whole range of possibility like drama, plays, etc. Presently, there are three prominent media for this. Number one, newspaper, magazine, literature, books, internet. These are three predominant media available in present situation. So in communication and publication, the language, words have played very important role. And in audio-visual communication, the ears as well as the eyes are used. Words and to see the form. In multimedia communication, other senses may also be involved. So basically, what is the relationship between sanskar and this communication? Sanskar is basically our understanding or assumption about the realities, and for this we use various type of communications: verbal communication, audio visual communication, printed media, to convey our acceptance, to convey our understanding to the other. So sanskar and culture are very closely related to each other. So if our sanskar are based on right understanding, right assumptions, then using this media we can convey the coexistential principles, harmony to every individual. So if we sum up the whole lecture, we can see the key goal of culture is development of right sanskar of every individual, development of right feelings. And there are three types of communication: verbal, audiovisual and publication, that are used to convey feelings, thoughts in any culture up to the any individual. So that's all from my side for today's lecture. Now in next lecture we will talk about civilization. Thank you very much.